shall use it. He must not live one more night. I've sworn it. For 10 years I've endured him. Now it will end. Don't let him awaken. Should he find me now, he would kill me. No, he would not give me death, for I would welcome that. He would find newer, more hellish ways to torture me.
Lady Beatrice? Lady Beatrice? Lady Beatrice? Who screams? Oh, my lady, look! Lady Beatrice and...
My son! My beloved son! Out of evil has come death. In each generation there shall be a Mervyn who will bring shame and death to the family for eternity.
Lady, for the mercy of heaven, listen to me. Set some limit on your awful curse. Let it not be forever.
An end there shall be, but it is beyond the wisdom of man to fix it, or the wit of man to discover it.
Lady, you speak in riddles.
Who fathoms the riddle lifts the curse. Pure blood, stained by the blood-stained knife, heals Mervyn's shame, ends Mervyn's strife.
Evil begets evil, and the evil does not die. The sins of the fathers doom the children through generations yet unborn. Impossible, you say? A superstition from the Dark Ages? Well, perhaps our story tonight will help you to change your mind. We start with a curse and a riddle, inextricably bound together. Somewhere in this room lies the clue that will solve the riddle and lift the curse. But 300 years have passed since Dame Alice pronounced that awful doom, and still the riddle is unsolved. Tonight we're concerned with two brothers, the last of the cursed Mervyns and the women who love them. Our players are Olive Sturgis, David Frankham, Jennifer Rain, Peter Foster, and Patricia Manning. Turn off your lights, close your windows, and even if the wind should rise, relax if you can, while we pick up our story in the year 1880, during the reign of Her Gracious Majesty Queen Victoria. And when our tale is told, you'll believe in curses as sure as my name is Boris Karloff.
Wonderful to see you.
Are you tired? Was the trip ghastly?
Oh, no, I'm not tired at all, and the trip was fun. I met the most interesting woman on the train.
Better a dull man than the most interesting woman.
Well, dear,
This is Eve.
Welcome to Mervyn Castle, Eve.
oh, thank you, Cousin George. It's so wonderful to be here at last.
Isn't she lovely? Exactly as I described her?
Yes, indeed. Lucy and I have been looking forward to your visit here.
Come on in. I want you to see our home.
Agnes, Andrews, this is my cousin, Miss Bishop.
How do you do, Miss
Welcome,
Bishop?
Miss.
Oh, Andrews, Jenkins has taken the luggage to the south wing. Will you attend to it, please?
Yes, my lord.
Thank you.
Come on in. Well, here's our little home.
How do you like it?
Oh, Lucy. George, it's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. It's just the way I imagined it.
Well, we feel it's ample for the two of us.
Darling.
I think the occasion calls for a little sherry to celebrate Eve's arrival, don't you?
Yes, will you do the honors, dear?
Right.
And now I really have a surprise for you.
Hello, Eve.
Alan. Oh, this is a nice surprise.
It's so good to see you again.
I thought you were still in Paris.
Well, I was able to finish my business sooner than I thought.
The minute I wrote him you were going to stay with us, he decided he could come too. Oh, Eve, this is a real family reunion. And Alan's first visit home since George and I were married.
Well, I think I've been very tactful leaving you two alone.
Well, I appreciate that, but 3 years is overdoing it. I think brothers ought to see each other once in a while, don't you?
And I agree.
Well, Lucy and I like country living. Alan seems to prefer living in London and Paris.
Well, we can't all be alike, can we, George? It'd be a very dull life then, wouldn't it?
This is really a heavenly old place, Eve. Alan, you must take her on a tour.
Well, now that the four of us are together, I'd like to propose a toast. Happy are we met. Happy may we be. Happy May we part.
And happy meet again. Well, sit down. You know, I hear the castle is haunted. Goodness sake, where did you hear that ridiculous old story?
A funny little woman on the train told me. I think she really believed it.
Well, I've lived here for 3 years now, and I haven't seen any ghosts. I wish I had.
Oh, I'm disappointed.
Oh, but there are foolish stories about most of these old country places.
Mrs. Purdy, the woman on the train, told me there was a special haunted room. May I have it, Lucy? Perhaps the ghost will appear for me.
I hope not, Eve.
Why?
Well, you shouldn't make fun of ghosts. They have appeared.
Alan, I think you really believe in them.
Oh, yes, he does. That's why he doesn't like to come here. The only reason he's here this time is because he knew you were visiting us.
Alan, you can't believe in such nonsense.
Perhaps I do.
Well, I don't. Lucy, I want that room. Please? Just think of all the fun I'll have telling my friends at home about it.
All right? You don't mind indulging Eve's whim, do you?
Well, no, of course not. Why shouldn't she have the room if she wants it?
Well, if you're ready, Eve, I'll take you up.
Oh, good. Don't worry, Alan. If I see any ghosts, I'll just say I don't believe in them, and they'll vanish out of sheer frustration. Come on. Oh, Lucy, I look forward to this for such a long time. Oh, this is a wonderful castle, and look at that town.
Well, here's to our ghosts, Alan.
Well, here's your haunted room.
Oh, Lucy. Oh, a haunted room shouldn't look like this.
Well, we sweep the cobwebs out regularly. It could do with a little air, though.
Doesn't anyone ever stay in here?
Well, actually, we never do put any of our guests in here, just in case they've heard some of the silly stories about it. According to one of the legends, several of the Mervyn ancestors died violent deaths in here. It's all a lot of nonsense. George and I don't pay any attention to it.
Alan seems to. I was quite surprised.
Yes, so was I.
Lucy, what a beautiful cabinet.
It's the most exquisite piece in the whole castle.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous.
No, it won't open. There's supposed to be some secret panel, but I've never found it. According to legend, until someone is able to open the cabinet, the curse on the House of Mervyn will remain.
Mrs. Purdy mentioned a curse. What's it supposed to be?
Oh, something terrible in every generation of Mervyns. I think the whole thing is just an excuse for the terrible Mervyn tempers.
Well, we must do something about that.
I'm sure we can, now that you're here. Well, why don't you have a little rest, and I'll tell the maid to bring your things.
All right.
Dinner's at 8.
Thank you, Lucy.
I don't want to discuss it any further. Do you understand?
I understand only too well. You don't want to face facts, do you? The fact that you and I have no right to marry, to risk the happiness or even the lives of any woman we loved.
Are you trying to tell me that I'm risking Lucy's life? Is that what you mean?
George, get away from this place once and for all and take Lucy with you.
No. She and I are perfectly happy here. Don't interfere in our lives.
All right, I won't. But let me tell you this. I don't like Eve being here.
Good evening. I'm Eve Bishop, Lucy's cousin.
understand you're allowing her to stay in that room in the first place.
There's nothing at all wrong with that room. Now listen, Alan, you're not going to ruin things here for us with your ridiculous superstitions.
In this house, no superstition is ridiculous.
You know, Alan, anyone would think that you were trying to provoke me enough to make that curse come true.
George, would you come and select the wine, dear?
All right, Lucy. It was a mistake for you to come home.
Hello, Eve.
Oh, Alan.
I suppose you overheard us.
Yes, I did.
I'm awfully sorry, Eve, really I am.
Alan, I think you're being foolish about that room. Just because people have died there. Why, people must have died in every room in the castle.
Well, I suppose I am being over-anxious. Forgive me?
I heard what George said about the Mervyn curse. Is that why you don't like coming here?
Well, let me put it this way, Eve. I only came home this time because of you.
Oh, Alan, this is a magnificent castle. I love being here. Please don't spoil everything for me.
All right.
Darling, do you realize this is the first time the whole family's dined together since you and I were married?
Well, that's right, darling.
Oh, you look beautiful, Eve. Well, I told Andrews we'll dine in a few minutes now that we're all here. What about your house guest? Well, I don't know what you mean.
Well, there's no one else staying here.
Oh, I saw a woman upstairs. She was lovely. I started to talk to her, but she disappeared down the hall.
You must have been dreaming, Eve. Alan shouldn't fill your head with all this rubbish about ghosts.
It's true. I'm not making it up. I saw her. But, Eve, it's impossible.
Milady, dinner is served.
Oh, thank you, Andrews.
Well, shall we?
Oh, I must hear more about this at dinner. I did see her, Alan.
Is this the woman you saw, Eve?
Yes. Yes, I think it is. Who is she, Alan?
Her name is Beatrice Mervyn. She's been dead 300 years.
Good morning, miss.
Good morning, Agnes.
The family's already had breakfast. Shall I bring yours up here?
Oh, no, thank you. I'm not very hungry.
I hope you slept well.
As a matter of fact, I didn't. The storm kept me awake.
Storm?
Yes, and that dreadful wind.
But, miss, we've had no storm for a week.
Last night was quite warm for a change. There wasn't a breath of air stirring. There you are, miss.
Thank you, Agnes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, I'm so sorry I'm late. It's perfectly all right. We're very informal here.
Well, good morning, Eve. You told me you were always up with the birds.
Usually I am.
Alan will be disappointed if you don't have a ghost story for us.
I'm sorry to report there were no visitations, but I didn't sleep too well.
Well, it was a warm night.
That's what Agnes said. Don't tell me I'm the only one in the house who heard the storm.
Well, I didn't hear a thing. I must have slept right through it.
I didn't hear anything either.
Of course not, because there was no storm. I'm riding over to see some of the tenants this morning, Alan. Like to come along?
No, no thanks.
You might take some interest in the way we do things around here. If anything should ever happen to me, you'd have to run the place.
Darling, don't be so morbid.
How about you, Eve?
Well, Alan's taking me exploring. I'm going to have a tour of the castle.
Enjoy yourselves.
I'll walk out with you, darling.
All right. Oh, Alan, let us know if you scare up any phantoms.
We will. Alan, listen. I didn't want to upset Lucy and George, but I know I didn't dream about that storm because the windows were locked this morning.
Then you have to get out of there.
No, don't you see? I think it's the storm that haunts the room. If it happens again tonight, we'll know for sure.
You move out and I'll stay there tonight.
No, I will not. I have to find out.
You're a stubborn one, Eve.
I have a feeling. I don't quite understand it myself. But if I can solve the mystery of the room, I think it will help you to be happy here.
All right. Come. Let's go exploring. The sun is shining and the whole outdoors is waiting.
Oh, Alan, the gardens are simply beautiful.
Later on this afternoon, I'd like to take you around as much of the estate as I can. Although actually it would take us 2 or 3 days. Do you approve?
Oh, I think it would be lovely. Of course I do.
This is the oldest wing, built before 1500. You may have noticed it when you arrived.
Yes, I think I can see it from my room.
Yes, I know.
Alan, where did those steps lead?
To the old fortress. Do you want to go up there?
No, I don't think so. What about dungeons? Every respectable castle must have one.
Then we're respectable. Come, I'll show you. Right over here.
Oh, Alan. Oh, can we go in?
I don't have the key. I told you.
Oh, there must be a key somewhere.
I suppose there is, but I wouldn't know where to start looking for it.
Oh, maybe Lucy knows.
Why bother with dungeons? I'd rather show you the birch grove. There's a summer house there built right over a stream.
Alan, we can see that later. Please ask Lucy for the key. Please?
All right. Sometimes you're still just a little girl. I'll ask Andrews. There used to be a key ring in the butler's pantry.
Good, I'll wait here.
All right.
Don't be long.
I won't.
1580.
Darling, where are you? Eve! 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 Eve!
Oh, Alan.
Eve, darling, what happened? How did you get in here?
I saw the woman. There. She was trying to tell me something. I know it. She was pointing. Over there.
Where the woman sinned, the maid shall win. But God help the maid who sleeps herein.
What does it mean?
I don't know. I didn't know this room existed.
Beatrice Mervyn is buried here.
For 300 years, nobody knew where she was buried. You've discovered her grave at last, Eve.
Nobody knows where that grave is. Nobody.
I tell you, Eve found it in a secret room next to the crypt.
Your imagination is no longer amusing, Alan.
But I did. And Lady Beatrice was pointing to her grave.
Now, this time you have to face up to the truth.
Oh, the truth is what you call the truth. Well, I don't believe it. I won't believe it.
When Lady Beatrice appears, someone always dies. You know the family legend as well as I.
Family superstition. Witches' tales. Now, you've never seen Lady Beatrice, and neither have I. Why should she appear to Eve, who's not even a Mervyn?
Then what about our own mother, George? Or do you call it sheer coincidence that Lady Beatrice appeared to her, too, the night before she died?
Hold your tongue! I won't listen to another word you hear. I won't hear another word!
George!
I don't know what happened. Didn't realize what I was doing. I'm sorry, Alan.
It's all right. I know you didn't. I understand.
Alan.
Eve, there's something I must tell you. George and I are the last of the Mervyns. He pretends not to believe in the curse. He won't tell the truth to Lucy, but he knows as well as I there's no escape. The curse started with Beatrice and Hugh Mervyn. He was a vile person. He made her life a living hell until finally she murdered him and then killed herself. His mother found their bodies.
In the haunted room?
During a violent storm. That night she placed a curse on all future generations of Mervyns. And since then, no generation has missed its tragedy.
But the cabinet. Lucy told me. When someone finds the way to open it, the curse will be ended.
It's been 300 years. No Mervyn has ever had the courage to try it. I believe the cabinet will open when the last of the Mervyns is dead.
want to know?
Yes.
There's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all.
That's morbid.
That's Hamlet.
It's still morbid. Oh, Alan, you mustn't be so pessimistic. Don't dwell on death.
Forgive me, Eve. Lovely, lovely Eve. If life were different,
What would it be?
I would say I love you and ask you to be my wife. But as things are,
I see. Suddenly I feel very tired. I think I'll go to bed.
I'll see you to your room.
Good night, Lucy.
Is my music driving you away?
Oh, no, silly. I'm just tired. Good night.
Good night, darling. Sleep well.
Good night.
Good night. Wake up, George.
I wasn't asleep. I was just thinking.
Nice thoughts?
They were about you. I love you.
Don't worry, Alan. Everything's going to be all right.
If you want me, call out. I'll hear you. Good night.
Good night.
He must not live one more night. I've sworn it. For 10 years I've endured him. Now it will end. Sweet heaven, don't let him awaken. Should he find me now, he would kill me. No, he would not give me death, for I would welcome that. He would find newer, more hellish ways for his love of torture. He sleeps deep. A moment will set me free.
But I don't know what those words mean. Why should I kill him? Oh, God! Thou art strong. Help me.
The maid has won.
Nothing. Why didn't you call?
Didn't you hear it? That terrible wind. And, oh...
And what? Tell me what, Eve?
Storm again, and then she appeared.
Who?
Beatrice Mervyn.
Oh, my poor darling.
Oh, Ellen, it wasn't a dream. I know. Look.
Poor Eve. Tell me how.
Come with me. I'll show you. Come with me. The cabinet. The knife was in the cabinet, in a drawer, and it was open. And I took the dagger out, and... Oh, you must believe me. Hugh Mervyn was asleep in this bed, and I had the most terrible urge to kill him. And I found the strength to resist. I held the blade. Alan, I remember Lady Beatrice said, "The maid has won."
The words over Beatrice's grave. Where the woman sinned, the maid shall win.
The knight opens the drawer. Now, do you believe me?
Of course, my darling. Pure blood stained by the blood-stained knife heals Mervin's shame, ends Mervin's strife. Darling, you've solved it. You brought peace to Beatrice at last. And to the whole family.